I guess at this point we just make up someone who is a part of something else. Maybe someone of a completely different, because we have a pilot. We have what do you call a boat pilot? Sailor?
A boat pilot. Incredible. A captain.
Well, captain, yes, but I don't know if there's anything.
You could be a pilot, a sailor. Incredible.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Seth.
And welcome back to the Writers Room Game Show. It's the podcast where every week we generate an original feature film idea from scratch in under 60 minutes, working from a set of random prompts given to us by a big Hollywood studio. Seth, how you doing, my man?
Ryan, Polly, I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. You sound a little under the weather.
I did, and, just the way I said the name. Well, I was
How
sick.
are your allergies? Because a few weeks ago...
Yeah, we needed time for an allergy update. Allergy update! I'm Ryan, Polly, and I sing songs. So we'll obviously replace that with a real one. Allergy update. I thought these were allergies, but then I got a fever last week.
COVID V2?
No, thank God it wasn't.
Very glad.
Butter. And now thank God it wasn't butter. That was nothing. I thought I could make it something. I'm still loopy.
Thank God it wasn't butter.
Yes, it's in hindsight branding.
That's maybe sinus infection or like a stomach bug. We just had
sadness infection.
I had allergies and then it turned into a sinus infection. Had a stomach bug at the same time.
This podcast is coming in hot.
It really is.
Two white guys listing their sicknesses.
I feel like everybody I know right now has some sort of like drainage congestion kind of thing going on, and it's like thankfully not COVID, related. But it's like,
but it turns out you can get other diseases still.
We stayed inside for a few years, and now that we're going out, it's like everyone's getting sick.
It's so true.
But anyways, well, I'm glad that it's not anything too serious, Seth.
Me too. Not too serious, Seth is actually the name of my...
Thank God it wasn't butter.
Is my ghost. Thank God it wasn't butter. We're doing a real show today.
We're going to do a real show. We've been doing talk shows for 3 weeks.
We have. I forgot how we do this.
You know what?
The writers room.
Whoa.
No, we got plenty to do before the Writers Room Game Show begins.
Yeah, we've been doing these talk shows. It actually got us, we were talking, we were messaging with Rene, editor Rene, who's editing this very episode right now, live.
Wow. We haven't even recorded it.
But we were messaging and you were like, what if we just did a major motion podcast? And it was just our talk show version.
After last week's was really fun. I loved last week's listen.
It was so fun. It really was so fun.
Yeah. If you're out there and still listening to our podcast and you like the idea of another podcast that was more frequent called Major Motion Podcast, where Polly and Worley just talked about nothing.
That's what I feel like most podcasts are nowadays, is people just talking about nothing. And I'm like, man, you realize how simple, how easy it is.
It's easy if you and I had a very successful television and motion picture careers.
That's true. And suddenly have a huge following of people who want to listen to what we
already have
about.
It. Yeah. Everyone, like the Smartless podcast, I saw something where somebody on TikTok was doing an impression of Jason Bateman, like feigning humility. Like, and man, how wild is it that just, three guys like us with like very well-established television careers and pre-established audiences of millions are able just to start a podcast and win awards in the first year, and make a full living.
Incredible. Did they have a movie deal?
I mean,
is that what you said?
No, they're Jason Bateman and Will Arnett and what's his name?
True.
I mean, they've been in movies. That's what.
And you got people like Conan, whom I love, but he just sold Team Coco to Sirius XM for like $1 billion.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah. And so they're like basically to continue what they're doing, but as a Sirius XM podcast, and they just like hundreds of millions of dollars he made from that deal. I'm like, insane, that podcast.
Crazy.
That could be us, Seth.
It could not. I have no idea how that could be us.
I want to take I'm assuming this is the studio. It's been a while since we've heard from them. I'll go ahead and put them on speakerphone. Here we go.
Ryan's mom, finally.
Hello, is this the studio?
Boys, it's the big Hollywood studio.
Oh, so it's not Ryan's mom.
We're sending over this week's assignment in an email. Let me know if you don't see it.
Okay.
You get anything? I don't seem to have anything on my side.
Yeah, I'm getting it over here.
Okay. Yeah, the studio looks like we're getting it.
This week, we're looking for a pitch in this genre.
Alternate history, in parentheses, what if, ... question mark?
Okay, Marvel's What If, but with real life.
Okay.
And we'd like it to have this tone.
Mysterious.
mysterious.
We want to appeal to this target audience.
Fans of ASMR.
Oh no, this is going to be interesting.
Mysterious.
with microphones in front of us.
Assmeyer.
We want to appeal to this target audience. Mandate.
Good God. Hey.
What was that,
Try this
studio? It sounded like there was two of you, studio. You want to repeat that?
And this is our only mandate.
Our film must center around the chosen one.
The chosen one. I like that. It's very open-ended.
It is very open-ended.
Okay, well, thank you, studio. We can't wait to get into this assignment.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, I almost forgot. One more thing.
Okay.
Just make sure it's better than Gremlins, an empirically bad movie.
How many times are you going to say this, studio?
I don't know how to respond to that.
Well, I don't appreciate you, but we'll try our best to make this movie better than Gremlins, even though it's already a great movie.
No.
Excuse me?
Wait, studio, do you think that Gremlins is a good film?
Not at all.
Oh man, I totally agree with you. It's just overrated by many people, and it's really cynical, right?
Talk to you later.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I guess that's it.
We'll see you around.
Studio,
We're so
we'll try.
excited to hear what you come up with. Talk soon. I love you.
Oh, you too, pal. You too.
I'm still deciding. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so we've got that. Now all we need is some ideas for our idea pile. Seth, what would you think about actually taking some cards from our card game to use as our 5 ideas?
I think that's an excellent idea, Ryan. I think it's an excellent... I think I will, my good lady. Let me see. Playingcards.io.
So we're going to draw 5 writer cards from our new card game called Major Motion Picture, which you can find out more about on majormotionpicturegame.com. And we're going to use those 5 ideas sort of as ideas that we can use but don't have to use in our movie idea.
Absolutely. I'm going to draw 5 writer cards, and we're going to have to include them in our... Or not have to include them, but they are options. Wait, you just said that, right?
Yep.
Our 5 things are cloning, a human with some dino DNA.
What?
Okay.
I'm guessing that means like a human being that has dinosaur DNA in their own DNA, not like holding a vial of dino DNA.
Yeah, like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Yes, like
Girl.
what we thought. Yeah, because the girl, she does have dino. No, she doesn't. She has her own DNA, but it's disappointing because we think it'd be cooler if she had dino DNA.
I have no idea what's going on in that movie. We can talk about it on another bonus podcast.
Oh, thank God. A dragon.
Awesome.
An escaped animal.
Okay.
And lastly, a helicopter chase.
I love it. Okay. And you know what that means?
Hit the soundboard.
The Writers' Room Game Show has begun.
That was so segmented.
That was a little bit of a heart attack. Sorry about that.
Okay, so we have a alternate history, aka what if movie that is mysterious for fans of ASMR, and the movie must be centered around the chosen one. Sorry, the chosen one.
I'm not going to like this. Whispering in each other's ears.
What is the chosen one to you, Seth? Is this Jesus Christ?
No, well, it's always a Christ analog, is it not? It's a
farm boy.
The chosen one. Let's, I got so into this in like my 20s, like learning what the word postmodern meant days.
Are we going to have an immediate break for teaching, Seth?
No, there's no way in hell I'm going to sit and teach you about postmodern storytelling in the 2000s via The Matrix. It was basically just Matrix-related stuff. But the chosen one, I think of Neo, of course, because that was the one that really hijacked it and used it.
The Matrix is probably the best example nowadays.
It's the most on the forefront of people's minds, I know. But
I mean,
it's
you got Luke Skywalker, of course. That's
a character who is a predetermined
classic
chosen one. Lego Movie did it great by upending it and saying, I made it up. No one's chosen. You get to be how significant you want to be. So, alt history is centered around a chosen one. I do not want to tell a story about Jesus. I'm sorry.
Me neither.
I love Jesus. Me and him are close, but I'm not into writing.
We've got a lot of friends who literally work on a show called The Chosen about Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. I think my cousin works on that show actually.
Nice. Josh Wilburn.
You know Josh.
Shout out. Yeah, he worked on Pizza Time.
That's right.
He's the key PA. He was
key PA.
Upgraded to the key PA because I'm like, oh, this guy is doing a shitload of work.
Yeah, Josh rules.
Yeah, so thinking about alt history and the chosen one, it could be fun to make someone who is not the chosen one in history the chosen one. It's sort of make them the center of a story where maybe in history they were a smaller part.
Okay.
Because the fun thing to me about alt history is like not to use Inglourious Bastards again, because obviously we did an episode sort of about that.
Yeah.
But the alt history kind of thing in Inglourious Bastards was taking this event in history and making the Jewish people sort of the protagonists in this story.
The victors of the story.
The victors, yeah, exactly. And so I feel like, and doing it to sort of a ridiculous degree where it's like super over the top in a Tarantino style. So like taking something that is very mundane or what we would think is normal in our history and making that sort of
it's
weird.
there was a whole period where that was like the thing to do. It was the Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh, that's right. And, yeah.
I read a
Pride
script.
and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yeah, and I read a script one time that was, I think both of those were Seth Graham Smith, weren't they? And then there was a script I read, it may have even been made at some point, where Edgar Allan Poe was like a monster hunter or something like that. Oh, God, I feel like John Cusack played him.
John Cusack played Edgar Allan Poe?
Yeah, hang on.
But
let me
like
look this
action
up.
movie version?
Yes, The Raven, American crime thriller, stars John Cusack.
Wait, I do remember this.
Fictionalized account of the last days of Poe's life in which he pursues a serial killer whose murders mirror those in Poe's stories.
This is like mid 2010s, right?
Yeah. 2012.
Like, 2012, okay.
And that was
not
right around.
Not to be mistaken with the other John Cusack movie, 2012.
That was yes, but that was the period of time when I was reading scripts because Plot Device had come out, and I was a major Hollywood player.
Love it. Yeah, man, alt history.
Just want to remind everyone, once every episode, I had a thriving career once. No, anyway.
Major Hollywood player. I love that description.
MHP.
Yeah, man. The only hard part about alt history is that history is such a big subject that it's like we've got to dwindle it down to what if it's just a big moment in time when we tell a story about someone we don't even maybe know about, but we just use a big
someone you and I don't know about. You want to tell an alt history story about someone?
Yes, I'm
we don't
saying
know about.
make up a fictional story about someone, but it's kind of like you have
what if
Lieutenant
this entire
Aldo
thing
Rain
happened that didn't at all?
I don't know if you're being sarcastic.
No, but I guess any story is alt history if you said it in the past.
Yeah, sorry,
didn't happen.
but I meant like not like Abe Lincoln figure. It'd be like someone who worked at the White House during but I think in order to call it alt history, it has to cross paths, like Forrest Gump. Like it has to cross paths. Well, yeah, paths with that, but like Lieutenant Aldo Rain in Inglourious Bastards, where it's like a fictional person in this very real war and some of these real life events, but kind of telling a fictional story and just weaving in those real life events into our fictional stories so that we can tell a mysterious, chosen one story that has
totally.
It's more us choosing a setting in like a time period and then coming up with our story that, our cloning. Cloning is one of our ideas. Maybe we can take a historical figure and there's a clone of them that looks just like them, but is a completely different person, and maybe weaving them throughout this historical.
Okay. Hang on. So don't hang on. That was my brain. You keep thinking out loud.
I'm just thinking what's a setting or a time period that you really like that?
Oh man!
In history, do you like a more recent?
That's a good question. I don't know what
70s period piece kind of thing.
I'm all about I have such a limited
We're not crazy about world history, but I think we are crazy about pop culture history.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So what if we made
that show it's on right now, The Offer? That's about the Godfather.
I haven't seen it, but
it's not great. But I am. Okay. It is. I'm all into it because it's my favorite.
So
what
if we did pop culture history and changed it a little bit? Because that's
what if we picked a musical act and made them inanimate objects and
oh god. Not this again.
No. But so
because then it's we can weave a sort of crazy, sort of fun adventure. Or I see helicopter chase, escaped animals. I see cloning, weaving that a fun adventure action story with something in pop culture history. I don't know.
I got one for you.
Okay,
the moon landing. No.
Okay. Kubrick shooting the moon landing.
So that's one idea. I'm trying to remember. I had a loose idea around something like this, but I can't remember what it was. So I'm kind of making this up right here.
Okay.
So you know how the time of the is the Brat Pack. That's the film school. Like that's Scorsese and Spielberg and Lucas and De Palma.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So they were all like film school dropouts or graduates or whatever. And they were like in that season, that time, Hollywood was like loved them because they were fresh out of film school. And
Wait,
they were like,
were they the Brat Pack? I think is the
that's the Rat Pack.
80s.
Yeah. So then what are the name? There's a name for the Spielberg
Is it
crew.
Rat Pack?
No, Rat Pack is Sinatra and Dean Martin and all those guys.
Okay, yeah. Brat Pack is like the 80s version of that, where it's like all the John Hughes kind of.
Then there's a name for the Lucas and Spielberg. I don't remember what it was. The Flat Pack.
Coppola.
They are
Scorsese.
So what I'm getting at is this idea of a bunch of film school like filmmakers in like the 80s, late 70s. It was 70s. What if you had something like that in the 60s and the government hired a bunch of like young filmmakers or not young filmmakers, but like went to the studios and solicited the studios to make all of the cheesy B movies that we now remember, to desensitize audiences to the idea of UFOs and aliens and to make it a goofy thing.
That's an actual conspiracy, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Pretty sure, but I like it.
Because the idea then is like
yeah, make a bunch of alien movies, get people used to the idea of space and all this stuff, and then we do the moon landing and shoot it.
Literally, we want a ungodly number of alien movies to come out over the next like 5 years. We don't care what they're about, and they honestly shouldn't be effective or good. They should be dumb.
I love it.
And so then you have a group of filmmakers who are like stumbling over the truth while they're making these movies. It goes a little further back in history than I would like to go, though.
Definitely. I'm not familiar with anything in that era.
Yeah. So it was a bad idea. Good. I got my bad idea out.
But it's alt history. I mean, we have a few big, events, and then we can come up with our fictional story and weave those events throughout, crescendoing maybe to them shooting the moon landing or something.
It's a mysterious alt history story. We could bring back Quasar, the story of that Bermuda Triangle story with the teleporting tigers.
Oh my gosh. Well, we do need an escaped animal.
Oh my God.
But what is the history of it? Like, what is...
So the idea of it, and again, this is an idea for those
you came
listeners.
Up with like third grade or something?
Oh yeah, third grade-ish. About, basically, I was fascinated with people in history who had just disappeared, who we didn't know their fates. The captain of the Titanic qualified because no one knew his official fate. Obviously, he died on the ship, but no one knew how. But it was always mysterious to me. Amelia Earhart, incredibly fascinating because she's disappeared. I mean, sad, tragic, but incredibly fascinating to a third grade boy. The idea was that they all were it was to make a movie about all of these, like, you get a couple other people from history, and they're all the main characters in this ensemble cast.
We're making this movie, by the way.
In an ensemble cast, I can't stop talking about it, in an ensemble cast in this like parallel dimension called Quasar. And...
I like that it's not even Quasar.
It's not.
Which is like...
It's cute. It's because there was a laser tag place. It was the only one here in Nashville when I was a kid called Quasar, and that's what it was called.
It's so close to an actual word.
I know, it is.
But Quasar, dude, we're making this movie. It's all history because you have all these different famous figures of history that are getting trapped in the Quasar world.
Let me see if I can find who the other characters were in Quasar.
And dude, our cold open is so good too because you have an actual event. Maybe it starts with Amelia Earhart. This crazy, she's flying her plane and it's starting to get stormy or whatever, and then she like disappears or whatever, and then we got the title Quasar.
So you think it's going to be like an Amelia Earhart biopic, and it is not. It quickly reveals itself not to be.
Back when Amelia Earhart was flying, like they still had like radio, right? Like in the planes, there's probably so maybe she's like flying. She loses radio contact. Is trying to It's like she suddenly enters a storm and she's doing all these maneuvers or whatever, and then she disappears.
So they live and fight to survive an army of magical tigers that can teleport across long distances.
Oh, that's good.
I'm looking at any notes that I have.
My question, Seth, because you're the
authority on Quasar.
You're the creator of Quasar. Who was the chosen one?
It's got to be Amelia Earhart.
I guess she to me, like, that's interesting. I don't know a ton. I only know like the hits of her story.
The hits,
but
you don't know the B-sides.
Like to me, like she would be a great chosen one, and we can start it with her. Maybe the beginning, like Act 1, they can be kind of trying to find her, and like we have some other people and they discover Quasar or whatever, and then we join back with her, and she's with like all these other famous people from history. And the interesting thing to me is if it's the Bermuda Triangle, it could be this Quasar could be this realm without time, where it's like people from the future and the past and the present all there together, because when they enter, it's like it takes them to the same period of time, whether or not they entered it at that time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So that you can have all these other famous, interesting characters interacting with each other.
All right, so I'm going to look up characters who are historical figures who disappeared.
They don't have to disappear, though, do they? Like,
yeah,
because Amelia Earhart disappeared, right? She didn't.
No, she disappeared. That we don't have any confirmation. Like, she was declared dead, but she disappeared over the Pacific, I think. 9 mysterious disappearances of people other than Amelia Earhart. What a funny list.
Right,
Roanoke. The whole colony of Roanoke is one.
What is Roanoke? Is that a...
Oh, man. I didn't listen in school, so I didn't know this either. And I learned about this as an adult. Roanoke was
is it a
colony,
Native American tribe?
It's a colony on Roanoke Island. There were like 100 settlers in this colony. Essentially, the colony was established by Governor John White, who promptly returned to England to fetch supplies. By the time he returned in 1590, the settlement and all of its people were gone. The only trace was the word Croatoan carved on a fence post and CRO on a tree. Croatoan was the name of I definitely mispronounced this, was the name of the Native American tribe that lived on Roanoke, as well as the name of present-day Hatteras Island. I mispronounced that. Several theories arose and archaeological exploration continues, but nothing definitive has surfaced about the settlers' disappearance. This whole colony just disappeared.
Okay, they're on Quasar, of course.
They're in Quasar. Done.
And there can be one leader of the tribe or whatever that we can have as our main friend of Amelia. Who else? Ambrose
Bierce, newspaper and short story writer, satirical column Prattler, which ran a number of...
I feel like we need to have like a pirate or someone who's sailing or...
George Mallory was a schoolmaster in England, a seasoned mountain climber. He had trained on the most difficult route to the Alps, but he disappeared on Everest, it seems.
Maybe there's a portal from Everest to Quasar.
Oh, wait. 75 years later, in 1999, an expedition discovered his body.
Yeah.
Raoul Wallenberg.
Nobody's going to be as famous as Amelia.
Jimmy Hoffa. Do we think Jimmy Hoffa is
Hoffa?
Yeah.
Yes. Jimmy Hoffa, played by Al Pacino, reprising his role
100%.
From The Irishman, is in Quasar. So in our movie, I think it would be interesting to kind of jump from people...
By the way, the movie is called Quasar. Or Quasar.
Quasar.
I don't know ASMR. I don't understand it. It's you just speak quietly and enunciate the hell out of things.
QSAR. Quasar. I think there's a lot of whispering and then just doing like
yeah,
random sounds.
Quasar. Is it Q-Zar? I don't know how to...
However, third grade Seth would spell it.
Quuzar, probably.
So I kind of see this story being half like people trying, maybe Amelia Earhart's, is Amelia Earhart?
Earhart, yeah.
I keep on saying Earnhardt as if she's like
Dale Earnhardt
Jr.
Is it the Ascendant?
Like her crew trying to figure out a mystery of her disappearing and trying to find her, and then cutting into Quasar and having like Amelia and Jimmy Hoffa and Blackbeard or whoever else.
Colony of Roanoke.
The Colony of Roanoke.
Captain Titanic.
Yeah, the Captain of the Titanic. That definitely has to be one of the people.
I'm just calling him Captain Titanic. I don't know his name.
That's got to be his entire name.
Oh, his name was Edward Smith. Boo, Captain Titanic is his name.
But like it's like the Amelia's crew trying to find her and figure out this mystery, and then them on the island trying to figure out how they got here and how to get out. Basically, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just them on the island and just stay with them like Lost style, because that probably is more interesting. And have like a Lost style story where they're figuring out the island and the mystery of the cloned tigers that escaped this, secret base, and Amelia flies a helicopter in a helicopter chase. I think it all checks out.
It all does check out.
She's like, "What's this?" And Captain Titanic's like, "That's a helicopter." Wait, no, he wouldn't know a helicopter either. He's old too.
Who else? Could it be someone in the future that disappears? That's going to disappear?
Yes, definitely. But so we have Amelia, we have Jimmy Hoffa.
I've got it in the document. Amelia, Captain Titanic,
Titanic.
Colony of Roanoke,
Yes.
Jimmy Hoffa. I feel like we're missing some other textures here.
And
Are there any people of color in here? I don't know if they're...
the Colony of Roanoke, where are they from?
Oh,
they're
settlers from England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I must have zoned out during your history lesson.
The whole colony disappeared.
Yes, we need someone from the future for sure. Even like our future.
You and me.
And Ryan Pauly and Seth Worley on the island of Quasar. I guess at this point we just make up someone who is a part of something else. Maybe someone of a completely different, because we have a pilot. We have what do you call a boat pilot? Sailor?
A boat pilot. Incredible. A captain.
Well, captain, yes, but I don't know if there's anything.
You could be a pilot, a sailor. Incredible.
And then, you have this, leader of this colony, and then Jimmy Hoffa, who was just like a mobster / leader of, political leader. So we need someone who maybe like a warrior of some sort, or someone from like a Terminator type person.
The Terminator? You want the Terminator to be there?
No, but like a military person from the future or something. I don't know. It's hard because these are all like real people, and that we're like throwing in a fictional person from the future.
Solomon Northup, he's the author of the famous book 12 Years a Slave.
Who's a famous kid or baby right now that we can make an adult and put them in our story?
Oh, wow. And just make them disappear? We don't know.
Well, they're going to come back, of course.
Oh, yeah, they are. Harry Styles. How old is he?
He's like 30, 29 or 30 or something. Harry Styles, but in his 50s for some reason.
Yeah. We just have to make sure he makes it to his 50s.
Yeah, we do need a person of color in here, for sure.
Well, that's why I was looking at Solomon Northup, because his book, made in film in 2013, recounts a true story of his kidnapping and subsequent sale into slavery. After his escape, Northup was said to have worked on the Underground Railroad, aiding other slaves to escape. He embarked upon a speaking tour in Canada in 1857 and never returned home. He was never heard from again, though a letter written in 1863 claimed he was alive. A number of theories have been posed as to what happened to him. He became a spy for the Union Army and was captured and killed, that he was kidnapped and made a slave again, or that he just wandered away and died where no one knew him and is buried in an unmarked grave somewhere. Let's
do it. Let's put him in here, man.
Solomon Northup. He's there.
So that's our 5 people plus an entire colony. I like that. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not educated at all to write about these people, but yeah.
I'm going to call. I'm assuming this is our wildcard mandate. I'm going to go ahead and answer. Hello. Hello there.
Hey guys, there have been some developments since we last spoke. You'll find all the details in the facts we just sent over. It is unclear where my voice is coming from.
From the phone. From the phone, man.
From the phone. I actually answered the phone. I don't know if you realized that, Mr. Studio.
Today's wildcard mandate is...
From LA Nick, our one listener. We've acquired James Cameron's... Oh, he's speaking of his boss. We've acquired James Cameron's water tank for the final act. Make the climax occur underwater, not like that sicko. LA Nick's words, him.
Not like that sicko.
Gross, LA Nick.
Okay,
anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Studio. We're going to continue our work. We've got something good cooking up here.
Before I go, I need to ask one quick favor.
Okay.
When you're writing today, set aside a small amount of time to remind yourselves of our ultimate goal. To create a one-of-a-kind experience for the audience.
Where's this going?
That is absolutely nothing like the film Gremlins.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we can kind of cheat and make it in the water and underwater, not completely underwater, right?
Nope. It has to go completely underwater. And that's because in the Quasar, they're like every 3 years, there's a season in which for 30 days... everything is submerged in water.
But it like comes up in the third act. It rises.
Everything sinks, actually. In Quasar, everything sinks.
Everything sinks. The water stays the same level.
Yeah.
And everything sinks underneath.
For 30 days.
Okay, so let's start talking plot.
I thought we've been this whole time. No, you're right.
So we start maybe with, Amelia Earhart, her final flight in history. And maybe a sudden storm arises. She loses radio contact. She's kind of flying and she disappears. Cut to title. Quasar. And then from there, do we have her just crash land in Quasar and stay with her the entire time as this mystery unfolds? Or do you want to kind of have someone trying to figure out where they are?
Part of me, I have always wanted to do a little fun fact, if I haven't told this on the podcast before. My pitch for an Acme movie long ago included an opening in which it opened on the Warner Brothers logo, and then you heard this plane sound, and this plane came flying around the logo or crashing through it, and we followed it, and it was like this plane where it like blew up, and right as the pilot ejects from it, we're following the pilot down. They're getting their parachute open. They finally get it open. Right as they get it open, they crash through this like hatch in the ground and go into this like warehouse, and that's the beginning of the film. So
that's pretty awesome.
I kind of
maybe we have that entire crash landing.
Yeah, I was saying, what if we open the movie with the crash landing? We don't even show who it is yet, right?
Are we like in a storm or something, and then she passes through something, and suddenly it's like a different world, or do we keep it like the same? Because that's interesting too. Build some curiosity, but then she crash lands in this new place or something. Maybe the plane just straight up stops working in this universe.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of cool, actually. The plane lands, and it's like, why is the plane covered in water when it's been, like, clear? But anybody who finds her is going to be like, welcome to Quasar. You're in Quasar. So it's going to be totally normal to them. The things are weird.
Hi, I'm
John Quasar.
Bill. Welcome to Quasar.
I'm Jimmy Hoffa. Welcome to Quasar.
It would be funny though if she crash lands and it's like this, big action thing, and then we cut to title, and then she like looks around. The first person she meets is Jimmy Hoffa, and he's been there for like a month.
Don't cut to title yet. We see Jimmy Hoffa, and it's like, he's like, I'm Jimmy Hoffa. Where am I? And right as he's about to say it, we slam cut to the huge title that says Quasar. With some kind of like, like music that plays underneath it.
Yes. And I love the fact that Amelia Earhart, she will have no idea who Jimmy Hoffa is, but the audience will be like, holy shit.
Whoa. Yeah, the audience will be blown away. Yeah. It'll be the comeback they've been waiting for.
Most of them will probably be like, what the hell am I watching?
James Hoffa. Call me Jimmy. Where am I, Jimmy? Quasar.
The chanting and the music. It's so good. Okay. And so this is about Amelia being the chosen one. So do we do our classic hero's journey with Amelia? And as a mystery, it should probably, I like a lost aspect kind of thing where they are in discovering things about the island and figuring out how to get out.
Yeah. What if she has amnesia? What if she hit her head and she has some ID on her and they know she's Amelia Earhart? She doesn't know what that means. She doesn't know how to fly. She has to remember how to fly. Maybe the big thing is, she suddenly unlocks her flying abilities and flies them in a helicopter. That is like the helicopter's there. Oh God, that's great. Is there a disappearing helicopter in history that we can use where that's the helicopter that's there?
Surely there's something.
Yeah, helicopters.
But like that's the only thing that
could.
That's the only thing they could get them out of the island. So maybe at the end they like steal this helicopter, and it's her with our whole crew in the helicopter, and they're being chased, and it's like this big helicopter chase in the third act. But then they get shot down, fall into water, and are now underwater because we have to have that for the third act. Shit.
Searchers continue efforts to solve mystery of pilot helicopter missing since 1997. Done. It's in the movie.
And the pilot unfortunately died in Quasar, but Amelia is there.
The body of Teddy Masalis. Apologies to his family.
Yes. Okay. So she's there. She meets Jimmy. We have our whole... So Quasar obviously is a made-up place. We have escaped animal, helicopter chase, dragon, cloning, and human with dino DNA. I feel like we can hit all of these. Yeah, we just need a story to sort of wrap around it. So obviously we have them trying to get out of the island. That's the big goal.
They all would have like set up civilization, and their threat would be the teleporting tigers. Like that's the constant threat that's there. And so they have to lay low. Maybe this is just no way to live.
I feel like there has to be someone cloning these tigers, and like
what I'm getting is maybe she shows up and gives them a will to like, we can get out of here. Like
yeah.
Let's find a way to get out of here.
Oh yeah, she's the last one there is what you're suggesting.
Yeah, there is no escaping Quasar. There is only surviving.
Yeah, camera pushing moment. Then it's like
I have people working on my house, we're getting a new porch right now, and these guys are outside right now putting gutters on, and they're hearing these chants just come out from down here.
Rene, every time that Seth makes that sound, I want you to add like tribal drums underneath.
Please do. We did. There's also a clip I may send you, Rene, because I'm going to talk about it right now. We had a dumb joke in a thing I made years ago called Adventure Now, where this character's future self kept showing up, like and saying incredibly cryptic, unhelpful things to him, and like there's things you can't know, and something has survived. Like no context for these statements, and then would disappear.
Something has survived.
And we found this stock track that came with Apple. What's Apple?
GarageBand?
Not GarageBand. It was the Pro one.
Logic?
No, halfway there. It existed for a little while. It was with DVD Studio Pro and Final Cut Pro. It was like,
okay, I don't know.
Anyway, I can't believe I can't remember, but it came with that, and it was this like guy going, "Ha!" like underneath this. It was the funniest thing to play underneath this old man showing up to talk to Pete. And Rene will play the clip now, and that's all.
He said he was from the future?
I know, it sounds ridiculous. No, it doesn't, Walt. That doesn't sound ridiculous at all.
Hello, Pete. There's things you can't know.
Look at this.
Thanks. Cool story,
Incredible.
bro. Okay,
so that's the theme to Quasar.
Amelia joins, and we've got Jimmy Hoffa there. We've got Captain Titanic, who's trying to rebuild a ship because he's like, we got to try to get out of here. I'm building a ship. We've got this entire colony of settlers. What's interesting to me is they would kind of have this all sorts of technology throughout history. I'm thinking of like, in Loki, when they arrive, they are in the sort of world, like in between worlds or whatever. Like whenever you get pruned, they you're sent to this universe where the big thing kills you or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
What? Wait, one more time. Oh, and Loki. Yeah.
Yes. And it's got all of these objects throughout history and time that are just kind of, it's like a dump for like all this stuff.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
I'm imagining sort of like a little bit of like sort of tools and stuff and weapons and props and stuff throughout all time that has just been dropped into Quasar. So I like the idea of these, this entire colony of settlers that are like dressed in sort of a mix of their clothes and like
other
future.
Yeah, it's
future clothes. And
it's it's like Ragnarok. It's like
yes, exactly.
The planet of Ragnarok. Totally.
Yes. And yeah, I like the idea too of there being sort of this a little bit of dread because they're like, these damn tigers keep on picking us off.
They come when not in the night. I guess they do come in the night, but no matter where you go, if you make I don't know how do you guard yourself from teleporting tigers? They can just show up and eat you.
I guess you have lots of traps or something.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. What kind of traps would you have for teleporting tigers?
Maybe they haven't built those yet. And
probably
Amelia, that's
regular traps, I would imagine.
Yeah, are they like teleporting? Do they just teleport in, wreak havoc and then teleport out? Or are they constantly teleporting as they're there?
I think they have to be moving to teleport. They can't just sit still. It's like you can't time travel without movement, supposedly, theoretically. So it's like you can't, teleport.
Yeah, 88 miles per hour.
These tigers can't teleport without movement. So they got to be, and I guess the faster they're running, the farther they can teleport. So that gives nice limitations. So they can't just like show up anywhere. But you can't, once they see you, it's hard, there's no running from them because, well, one, they're tigers. Two, they're teleporting tigers.
Teleporting tigers. So yeah, maybe they haven't built traps and stuff.
Tigers.
Maybe that's part of Amelia is she's like the chosen one and they're like, it's the prophecy foretold. And they're like pulling out their Quasar Bibles. And there's photos of there's like illustrations of someone.
No, there's a Quasar tree. It's the central tree. And it's like
Quasar tree.
Yeah, it's etched on the Quasar tree.
And that someone would arrive in a plane or like a flying vehicle to save them. She'd say, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know how to fly. I don't even know who Amelia is. Anyways, she has to learn,
I can't fly. I'm just Amelia Earhart.
You're like, air is literally in your name.
No, it's not. It's ear, pal.
But it's like one of their accents make it sound like air.
I have to ask you an important question. Do you know who Amelia Earhart is?
Well, I was making a joke, like one of their accents would say that.
Air is in your name, lassie. Yeah, I got you. I'm in.
Captain Titanic, or
That's Captain
he's
Titanic.
Irish or something, right?
Yeah.
But and then she has to sort of learn who she is and get them all to be courageous and build these traps and try to make it. There's got to be some sort of evil Quasar enemies that are cloning these teleporting tigers and keeping them on this island for some reason, right?
Yes, and that character speaks in very low ASMR voices.
He speaks like this, but it's really loud, but it's whispering.
You know who's the king of ASMR? It was the guy who played Kittredge in Mission Impossible.
Yes,
and said
yes.
Barnes all the time. Who's
Yes.
in the new one?
The new
you
trailer.
need to pick a side.
Like that monologue throughout 75% of the trailer.
That's just McQuarrie
side.
writing a monologue. It's a McQuarrie.
The most classic Mission Impossible sounding dialogue.
Your days of fighting for the so-called greater good are over.
Kittredge. What was his name? I forgot his name.
Yeah, he's the king of the
Henry Cerny.
Quasar.
Oh yeah, Henry Cerny or Sarny.
He's
I
the
don't know how to say his
Quasar
name.
king.
King Quasar. I like that.
King
And I
Quasar.
like King
King-
Quasar being
King
played
Asmire.
by Henry Cerny. I'm going to say is how you pronounce it. I don't actually know how you pronounce it.
So Quasar king.
So Kittredge himself playing King Quasar.
Yes, love it. And so what's our
Where
we need
you
some
are,
backstory.
science doesn't apply. You're in Quasar.
You're in Quasar.
Quasar. Oh, this only speaks at a whisper, and you can hear him all around you.
Yes, but it's as if he's speaking this close to a
Yes,
microphone.
at all times.
Maybe he has a mask or something that has a microphone like amplifier system.
He's magic. He's King Quasar, and his initials spell ADR because you can always hear him very close.
Yes, love it. And so the backstory is he's keeping them there to feed his teleporting tigers. In Lost, was it? They were in. I don't want to spoil this show, but it has been out
Oh
for a
my
long
God,
time.
it's been forever.
But they're like in purgatory.
Nope.
Is what they
No,
right?
no. That was
Wait, no, they died. They died on the island, and
they died. No matter where they died, they ended up in this like purgatory middle ground that had nothing to do
So
with
it is
the
a
island.
purgatory.
No, the island is not that. No matter where they died, on the island or anywhere else, in the 6th season, they ended up in this
That's right,
flash
that's right. You're
sideways
right, you're
place that was like a
some of them
waiting
died when
area.
the-
It was a waiting area for the
Yes.
whatever was beyond.
but the island was real.
The island was real. It was originally perceived as purgatory, I believe, and then everybody guessed it, so they had to keep going.
And then make eventually a real purgatory. But the island and stuff there was some stuff on the island that was just sort of made up for, like trying to think of just something good for the reason why this island would exist with these teleporting tigers.
Well, it exists naturally. There needs to be no explanation for why it exists. But the threat, King Quasar, whatever his goal is what we need. I'm like flirting with the idea of talking about him.
Quasar.
His goals are what need to have some kind of explanation, some kind of backstory that sets it up. The island itself needs no explanation
He's like, I've been waiting for you.
because of the Quasar tree. Yes, and your face was great. And then he's like, maybe he wants to see people get off the island. That's his like, it's almost like
He wants to see them try. He's testing them to see if they can solve the Quasar curse.
the Quasar riddles. Yes. The Quasar curse.
So maybe it's like a most dangerous game kind of thing where he wants people to join Quasar and try to make it out alive. Like it's a
We don't join
challenge for them.
Quasar. You don't join Quasar. You know what?
I know.
You get this whole thing where he's like, I'm so sick of watching people survive. I want to watch. He wants so badly to see someone try to get out. He wants to see someone try. So this is everything I dreamed Quasar would be.
I'm so tired of watching people try to survive.
He's just tired of watching people survive. He wants to see them, whether they die or live, he wants to see people at least try. And
Yes.
that's what you bring, Amelia. You bring trying.
The most anticlimactic monologue. You bring trying. You bring courage. You bring motivation. You bring trying.
Trying. Okay.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So we have
It
his
is
goal.
great.
He wants to see them make an effort to get off the island, and he's like, "It's not going to work. You're not going to make it off of Quasar, but you can try." And of course, at the end, they do make it off the island, and they have to, since they're all in their own, they would be arriving back. I think at the instant that they disappeared.
You think? I don't think so. I think
you think they all need to arrive back in whatever year it is.
They're there relative. I think they arrive. They get out there wherever that thing is in time at the moment. Like,
but
because they don't all arrive at the same time. Like,
yeah, I know.
So if she arrives and
it's what,
and Jim Hoffa has been like
32 or whatever, 19.
But Jimmy Hoffa's been there for a little while. It would imply that, like the island in Lost, this thing is just kicking around through time. Like it kind of exists outside of space and time.
Yes.
So when they leave, they don't know when they're going to be getting out.
I like the idea of all of them getting out in 2022, and they're like, "What is this shit?"
What the hell? Or that's what I'm thinking. I was about to say we get out and we do a Planet of the Apes style ending, where Quasar is like it's the future and the planet is Quasar. Like the planet has been.
And we zoom out and the planet is shaped like a Q.
The Statue of Liberty looks like Q's. No, I'm not doing like a Q. That's QAnon.
Oh no, I just remembered that.
I know that sucks.
It's not even on my brain.
So we see it should never be, but we see the Statue of Liberty and it's Henry Cerny's face. It's King Quasar's face.
And it has a speaker system, and it's like, I want you to.
It has a speaker system. It's playing.
The soundtrack is playing on the speakers of this statue,
and it's just the one cue over and over. Quasar.
It like pushes in on the close up of Amelia, and she's like, "Oh no," or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you hear the music.
Oh no.
Something overly dramatic. We have 2 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to...
I can't see how we can improve this. I think it's perfect.
It is perfect. It is really good. Is there any other ideas we want to incorporate? We've got cloning. We can talk about the tigers being cloned. Escaped animal. That can be the tigers. That's easy. Maybe they catch one and it teleports out.
100%.
Helicopter chase. I feel like we need to incorporate a helicopter chase, but then they obviously would need to crash and fall into water, and then the third act is underwater.
No, remember that everything goes underwater.
Oh, maybe they're trying to fly out and the water rises. Wait.
Ooh, that's nice.
The water rises and they get caught in the water, and now they're trapped in this helicopter in the water.
But now it's a boat, and Captain Titanic is like, I know what to do.
He rigs the helicopter to go down the water.
Yeah.
Captain Titanic is like, I've been training for this.
If there's one thing I know how to do, it's sink. Oh, he's a pirate now.
I like how he's embracing that the Titanic sank and hundreds of people died.
Yeah, 100%. He's owning it. As a strength. He's leaning into it.
Oh, man. Dragon? Is there a dragon on Quasar?
Oh, 100%. I don't know how it got there, but it's
Quasar
there.
rides a dragon. Like he has a dragon in his castle.
And it doesn't do anything else. It's just his ride. That dragon never does anything else or appears anywhere else. It's just like he has it to ride it around.
And the dragon whispers. It's like ASMR style.
Give us that one more time. Give us one clean. Perfect.
I'm trying to work on my ASMR. I don't think I've ever watched a full ASMR video. I've seen some where they're like squeezing weird like slime stuff, and it's making like bloopy sounds.
Arlie goes to sleep I can't hear him because she like puts him under her pillow and won't like listen to something and she goes to sleep. I can't listen to somebody talking while I go to sleep.
Yeah, we just do like white noise.
Yeah, me too.
Clutch.
Ocean sounds.
Okay, well that's our time. Okay. You want to pitch this thing?
I'll let you do it.
Quasar.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Today on our show, we have a lovely guest. She's a writer, director, filmmaker. She runs Rising Oceans Productions. You can check them out at Rising Oceans Productions on Instagram. Amanda Lee, welcome to our show.
Hello.
Amanda Lee!
Thank you for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Beautiful day that I spent all inside.
Hooray!
Yes, just like us.
That's what we do.
Amanda, she's just like you.
I don't know how to go outside.
Well, we have a movie we're going to pitch you right now. I'll get right into it.
Okay.
Our genre that we were assigned is alt history, in parentheses, what if?
What if history was different?
Our tone is mysterious.
Ooh,
Our
spooky.
demographic is fans of ASMR.
Where he just whispered. He just whispered into the mic. That wasn't even specifically ASMR. Just the.
It's ASMR.
Wow, my AirPods are gonna.
blow up.
Our mandate was our story needed to be centered around the chosen one.
Now,
Perfect for
chosen one.
ASMR.
and we did have a wild card mandate
Yes.
that I forgot.
It is actually, our wildcard mandate was the third act needed to take place underwater, be shot underwater, James Cameron-esque.
Or at James Cameron's underwater tank that he has.
Yes, and James Cameron's literal underwater tank from Avatar.
Oh my god.
So this is a very big budget movie. And then we were
Well,
given
quick,
five...
Pauly, you get that the guy who recommended it works there, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I got
great.
that.
Okay, great.
One of our listeners has been working on visual effects on the new Avatar and suggested that.
That's so cool.
Yes. And then we were given 5 ideas that we could or couldn't use. We get points at the end if we did use them. But those 5 ideas are cloning, a human with dino DNA, a dragon, an escaped animal, and a helicopter chase. So with that said, we came up with a pretty fun adventure movie called Quasar. And Seth is gonna start out our pitch.
So this idea originated when I was in 3rd grade, and I became obsessed with anybody in history that I learned whose fate was unknown. Like, meaning they were obviously presumed dead. Like Amelia Earhart is like the most famous one of people in history who disappeared. We don't know what happened to them. Interesting. I remember learning that this may have been since debunked, but I remember not debunked, but further explained. But I remember when I was in school and we were learning about the Titanic, we learned that the captain of the Titanic, like we didn't know how he died or where he was when the ship sank or whatever. So his fate was kind of mysterious as well. And there are many throughout history with that kind of fate. And so when I was in 3rd grade, I made up a story called Quasar, not Quasar, Quasar, about basically that there was this alternate dimension, like the Bermuda Triangle kind of a thing, where this like magical realm where all these historical figures all were trapped and had to survive against an army of teleporting tigers. So it makes sense, right? It's totally a natural progression of events.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Okay.
So our story is about our main character, Amelia Earhart. The movie, we see it as opening with a plane crash. Like
we see her flying. It's sort of a nice, blue sky. She's flying through when suddenly she's a random
we don't know who
storm.
it is yet, right? It's just a woman piloting a plane in that time period.
Seemingly out of nowhere, there's this big storm. She loses radio contact. She's sort of dodging and weaving when her plane gets struck by lightning. She kind of, it's this big action scene. She starts to go down. And Seth, did we talk about her going through sort of a portal into a new world?
Well, it is the weather would just slam different, all of a sudden. And
suddenly we're in completely different weather, and she continues to fly towards the ground. Maybe she hits she tries to eject out of the airplane, right before she hits the ground, she gets her parachute off, plane crashes, she crashes to the ground.
Yeah.
What's next, Seth?
Oh, she crashes and
is that it?
She hits her head really hard in this crash, by the way, and passes out while she's in the parachute. She wakes up, someone's waking her up, and it's this guy who looks like, he's dressed really weird. It's like an eclectic mix of clothing of like kind of period clothing, but then there's like a 90s t-shirt underneath, like a Springsteen shirt. Like it's just a mix of time periods. And he's found some ID that she had on her that says, so, your name's Amelia, and she doesn't remember. She has amnesia. And he's like, you flew in here, your plane crashed. And she's like, I don't know how to fly a plane. I don't know who I am. And
she's like, who are you?
Who are you? And he says, Jim Hoffa. And she says, where am I, Jim Hoffa? We slow push in on Jimmy Hoffa. And right as he's about to answer, we slam cut to Quasar.
Quasar.
with this chant.
Yes, and so that's our cold opening. But our movie sort of is about, it's this planet or this realm called Quasar, which all of these disappearances throughout history, whether it's Amelia Earhart or
Earhart.
That's what I said. Earhart.
You said Earhart. Earhart is the name of her the bio we'll make about her later. Earhart.
Jimmy Hoffa, the captain of the Titanic, who we're calling Captain Titanic. Solomon Northup, who is the author of the book 12 Years a Slave, who was a former slave who escaped and ended up being a spy for the...
Well, rumored to be a spy for the Union, but we don't know. Like his fate was he disappeared while on a speaking tour.
And this entire colony of settlers of this...
Roanoke?
The colony of Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Yes. So... we have all these people who are in this island called Quasar, and Amelia is the last to arrive, and there's a tree called the
first off, they all have to
Quasar.
survive, but right? And and there are wild tigers in the jungle surrounding them that can teleport.
I forgot about the tigers. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah, you will not forget about the tigers. They They teleport, but they can't teleport just by sitting there. It's important to know that like they have to have some certain speed like built up, and the distance at which they can teleport is determined by the speed at which they're running. But they're dangerous and they threaten everybody. Right?
Yeah, there's science to it, Amanda.
And now Ryan is right. There is a tree, and I'll let Ryan tell you about the Quasar tree.
Yes, so the Quasar tree is a tree at the center of the island, and there's been an illustration on the tree for centuries of this woman in an airplane that arrives and leads them out of Quasar back to their lives. And they've been waiting for this person to arrive. And when she arrives, she has no idea who she is. She, can't fly a plane. So they're a little upset. They're like, we thought you were the chosen one. But
how could you just forget?
But she has amnesia, and the whole movie is sort of about her trying to figure out who she is and help lead these people out of Quasar to safety, and like sort of rally them and show them how to be courageous and show them how to sort of get back, because when they all arrived, they started to try to figure out how to get off this island until it'd been a few years, and they just kind of get comfortable and make a life there, and they're like, whatever, this is. So she's trying to like give them what did we call it, Seth? The trying.
Well, so the thing is, I tuned out there. We talked about our antagonist.
Our antagonist, yes.
So the island is ruled by this distant and mysterious King Quasar, played by
King Quasar.
We're imagining him as, I don't know how to pronounce his last name correctly, but Henry Cerny, who was the bad guy in the first Mission Impossible and appears to be in the next Mission Impossible. He was the guy who talked like this and said Barnes a lot and over-enunciated everything. And we're imagining that, but whispering. Always whispering. Always whispering.
But he has this mask in which he can whisper, but it sounds like it's all around you because it's like amplifying his whispers. Oh my God. As if you have headphones on listening to ASMR.
It's like spatial audio of the man
around you.
And
looking around to
the King Quasar, get off of me. And so King Quasar just wants to watch people try to get off the island, and he's so bored. He's been bored for years with the current inhabitants because they've all settled. They've all found ways to survive. He's bored with survival. He wants to see people try to get off the island.
He wants to see Sir Thrival.
Oh, wait.
Okay. I'm with it. It's a Yes and podcast. Sir Thrival is what he wants. Because there was legend of a great warrior named Sir Thrival that once was on Quasar, and the one man to have ever escaped Quasar was Sir Thrival. He was a knight. And
he's tired of this survival.
He's tired of this survival crap. So he believes Amelia is the chosen one who is going to get them off of Quasar, who's going to get them off. He'll get to watch them escape.
So when he became King Quasar, he developed this technology to clone these teleporting tigers, and so he's sort of like the one who is a danger to everyone. And it's sort of this sick game that he has where he's like, I want you to try and get off this island, like do your best, and if you get out, great. But he likes to see them sort of
he likes the struggle.
Yes, exactly. And he wants to see them it's like a Hunger Games style thing where he's like he wants to see them try to fight for their lives. And but anyway, anyways, so Amelia, as she begins to remember, she kind of sees things around this island. There's a helicopter that is in King Quasar's camp that she sees, and
it's a helicopter that was crashed there in 1997. Forget the name of the man. We looked it up. There was a helicopter.
We actually
that
have history of this.
97. It was a Robert.
It sounds historically accurate.
Yeah, thank you. 1997 was a classic year for helicopter disappearances.
But she sees this helicopter and she has flashes of her flying and starts to remember. She sees things around Quasar that is giving her these flashbacks of her remembering who she is.
We're going to get calls from at least one pilot that's like, flying a helicopter is not the same as flying a plane, just so you know.
It's flying a first generation airplane.
Biplane, or whatever your heart flew.
She starts to like really get the people, rallying around her to try to get off this island. They start to build
traps. Today we celebrate our Independence Day from Quasar. Quasar's Independence Day.
Yes. Right. They have the holiday part where everybody's like having nice, fun montage.
Yes.
Dancing around the bonfire. Everybody's like, yeah, we can do it. Like, I believe in us.
You get it. You totally get it.
Captain Titanic's like partying. Like,
because he's a pirate.
He's drinking. There's people playing violin like in Titanic, but happily.
But they're playing the song from Back to the Future Part 3, the ZZ Top, the dun dun dun. You play it for us, Rene.
You're probably the only person who knows that song.
No, I'm not. We're gonna listen to it right now. Here we go. Double back. Here we go. So they're partying to this.
Yeah, because I'm really inspired after listening to that.
Yes. And so like as we like have this montage where they're like partying around the campfire, like you just said, Amanda, but they're also building traps, and like Captain Titanic is working on a boat they're making plans to steal the helicopter, all this stuff. And eventually Captain Quasar rides his dragon down to their camp, and I forgot to mention he has a dragon.
Did we mention he rides a dragon? Yeah, sorry.
Is it a real dragon or is it like a mechanical dragon?
It's whatever dragon got lost first.
Yes. In time.
Okay, I guess we'll come back to that.
I like that he just...
I got to do some research.
I like that he spruced up a shitty old animatronic dragon he found in the ocean.
To fly. And he flies out of the camp and he's like...
out of its mouth.
And he has, but he comes down and he, whisper yells to them, "You have one day until my tigers attack your camp." So we have like
you have one day until the submersion. Have we talked about
the submersion? Yes.
So
there's so much.
Once every couple of years, for 30 days, all of Quasar goes underwater. The oceans rise. See?
Yes, rising oceans.
Oh my God, climate change.
Yeah.
Yes. It even affects Quasar. It even affects
climate change is seasonal in Quasar. And actually one could understand why that actually happens. If we think about Quasar, we see Quasar as being something that kind of hops around and exists outside of space and time and kind of hops around in time.
Yeah, so anyways, every 30 days, it hops around to a different time period, but it's submerged underwater. And so they basically make a plan. They end up going on their plan to steal the helicopter. Amelia sort of figures out the controls pretty quick. We've got Amelia, Captain Titanic, Jimmy Hoffa, the whole crew packing this helicopter, and they start to fly off. They're chased by King Quasar and his dragon. And there's this big helicopter chase, but that's when the submergence starts, and it ends up like hitting their helicopter, and now they're like on the top of the ocean floor.
But now the helicopter's floating, and so Captain Titanic knows what to do now. He's like, now we're in my business.
It pushes in on Captain Titanic, and what does he say, Seth?
If there's one thing I know how to do, it's sink. And so he turns it into a submarine, and it goes underwater, and they escape that way.
They escape, and
they're free, right? They don't know what time period they are, but they are in the real world.
Yeah, they're beached onto a beach somewhere at some point in time.
And then eventually they come upon the Statue of Liberty, and they come around it to suddenly look up and find the face of King Quasar on the Statue of Liberty. It's the future where Quasar has taken the planet for himself, and what was it, Polly? There's a loudspeaker playing the Quasar theme music over
with tribal drums.
He's moved past the ASMR, and now he's like, now that he's the ruler of the world, now he's loud.
Yes.
That's it.
And you just hear a dragon whisper.
And that's the end.
And that is Quasar
Part 1.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
It's like Dune.
Yeah.
It's like Dune when it's promoted as Quasar, but then in the movie you see part 1.
We say it at the
What?
end when it's like there's no way to continue the story whatsoever. We put it at the end.
So that's our movie. Any initial thoughts before we get to our questions, Amanda?
Oh wow.
No,
Lots
it's
of
perfect.
thoughts. I think it's really cool. I think it's so visually fascinating.
There's a lot there, huh?
Yeah, and I think that's a lot. You have so much to play around with. I know it's.
Are you paying her, Polly? Are you paying her money, or does she work for you?
No,
Because
this
she's
is
being
free.
very nice.
She's got free will right now. She's
I'm thinking of all of the movie nerds that are also history nerds and sci-fi specifically. And then you have the new multiverse time traveling nerds who are like, they're going to freak out when they see this movie. They're going to be like, oh my God, it's the Holy Trinity. And then you're going to want people who want to go there, like for real. They want to be the person who disappears.
Yes.
We all
People
want to
be
be
trying to
the person.
disappear to show up in Quasar.
We all want to disappear into that great white Quasar beyond whatever it's called.
Okay, so
The great Quasar in the sky. That's what I was trying to say.
well, first, any fan casting for you in this movie?
Oh my gosh.
Who's
we have
Amelia?
any-
I've been thinking about who Amelia is.
That's a hard one.
She looks like
You're
Hilary Swank, but I think Hilary Swank played her in something.
What
Night
if
of the
it's
Museum?
Huh?
Oh yeah, is she in Night of the Museum?
Who was the girl who played Amelia Earhart in the Night of the Museum?
Oh yeah.
I like
We bought a museum. Let me see.
We Bought a Museum.
I might have said that under my breath. You guys aren't supposed to hear
I
that.
think everybody heard you.
Do we have Chalamet
Oh, no.
as the leader of the
Amy
colony of
Adams.
Roanoke?
Amy
Okay.
Adams played her.
I was gonna say this is if it was me personally as a joke, but not really. I think Zendaya could play a pretty good.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
we love Zendaya. We're big Zendaya fans. here.
Big Zendaya fans.
And I think we put Chalamet as the leader of Roanoke.
Oh my god, yeah, no, that totally works.
Yeah, he fits.
He's
we
already-
can, we can
he's
have our
halfway
Doom
there.
thing. Yeah.
He's halfway to disappearing with a colony of people.
wait. Timmy, I love you.
We've got Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa, reprising his role from The Irishman.
Right.
Captain Titanic should
Okay.
be the guy who played him in Titanic.
Captain Titanic.
And Solomon Northup should just be
Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Yeah.
Okay,
Chiwetel.
there we go.
Everybody's
We've
repeating
got
the roles
multiverse.
from other movies.
We've got a big multiverse thing going. Okay. So now
who did you guys imagine for the king?
Oh,
Yeah.
for Henry
Oh, yeah,
Sir,
that's
the
the-
Mission
that's the
Impossible.
guy from Mission
Oh,
Impossible.
right.
We'll send a photo of him.
The guy who says
Yeah,
you
I
need to
need
pick a
I need
side.
visual references.
King Quasar. Okay, so we'll get to our focus group questions now. Rate 1 to 10. How likely are you to see this movie? 1 to 10.
I would say like a pretty solid like 8 or 9. It feels like a
Ooh.
good blockbuster. Like it
Wow.
feels like hit of the summer where it's like kind of unique. I don't think anybody's ever done that before.
God. Polly, what if we
And- but
sold Quasar in real life? Like, what if in real life, this is the one idea we get off the ground?
I think we need to pursue this idea, Seth. We need to use our connections.
Our unlimited
okay.
connections. Okay, so a 9. How likely are you to recommend this movie to a friend? Say you saw it and it was everything that you right now think it probably is.
So for a friend who enjoys cinema, I would 100% like, yeah, 10 out of 10, go see this movie. It's awesome. For a normal person,
Like your parent.
maybe my mom would probably fall asleep. My dad would probably be like, no, my dad would like it. But my mom, she's a fall asleep at the movie type of person. And so
Nice.
I would say maybe like, you know what? I don't even care. I would recommend it. I'd be like, just try your best to stay awake. Because I feel like I feel
best.
like there's something in there for everyone. There's like a little bit of everything because there's a lot going on.
Because
I'm
they're
sure,
teleporting type.
There is a
I'm
lot.
sure she'll be able to latch onto something.
All right,
Very
so
fair.
10. Adherence to assignment. Polly, reminder of the assignment.
Alt history, mysterious,
Mm-hmm.
fans of ASMR.
Stop it.
Centered around the chosen one, and the third act is underwater.
So 1 to
Yeah.
10, our adherence to assignment.
I feel like you all hit everything like on the head. That was I would give 10 out of 10. That was very oddly specific at the movie.
Damn,
Hit
we're
everything.
good.
Man, we're good.
But it
All right.
worked.
And then overall
Yeah.
idea, 1 to 10.
I would give it like a 9, 10, 9.5, 10.
9.
10,
I'm going
yeah.
9 to be fair.
I liked it. I think anything original. I like the idea that you guys did with like it's something that like we know. It's like our history or like our perception of what we know, but it's like totally twisting it and making something new and like interesting and funny, but like also mysterious and dramatic and like action thrillery out of it. Like that's so cool. I love it when
Wow.
movies do that.
Wow. Wow.
Love it. Love
This went
it.
way
then
better
we
than I
have
thought it was going to go.
this is so much better than I thought it was going to be, Seth. I thought we were going to be ripped to shreds.
Same.
You guys, I think it's like go big or go home. I'm a big believer. Go big.
Amen.
Love it.
So our ideas, we managed to work in cloning with the tigers.
Yeah, with the tigers, a dragon.
Did we talk about the tigers were cloned?
I think
Yes.
I said.
Okay.
Yeah, I said
Yes, it was mentioned.
Okay.
Cloned
Wait,
the
I
tigers.
did have a question. Were the
Yes.
tigers already there on the island, or did the king get there? And
That
then
is a great
made-
question that you will be asking when you leave the theater, and we're saving for part 2.
Okay, I was going to say that.
And I think
that
it
might
would be explained that teleporting tigers had always been on Quasar, but they were going extinct. So that's why he developed the cloning technology.
Boom.
To keep them alive.
I love it. They're a natural occurrence. A human with dino DNA. Do we have one of those in here?
We do not.
But we didn't mention that it's revealed that Jimmy Hoffa is part Velociraptor.
It's revealed in part 1 or
Part 2, so it doesn't count. Dragon, we have a dragon.
You have-
Escaped animal. The tigers do escape. They trap them and they escape.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Helicopter chase for sure.
Yeah. So
there's a
that's 2
helicopter.
points per each, right?
Yep.
So that's 8. So 38 plus 8 is 46. That means
46 out of 50. I think that that means we should be getting. Looks like we're getting a call from the studio. I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up. The studio, is that you?
Do you like apples?
Yes.
Yes.
I said, do you like apples?
Yes.
Yeah, we like apples.
Yeah, the average amount.
Me too. Also,
Okay.
we're buying your movie.
Incredible.
Yes.
Yay!
Oh, man.
Thank you so much, studio. This was super fun to make.
Congratulations. You are now allowed to be happy.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Whoa.
Mr. Studio. We will be happy.
Shut your damn mouth, Ryan.
Whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
This is kind of awkward. Sorry about this, Amanda. The studio's usually not this mean to me.
My.
So,
Okay, bye.
I think you guys might need to have a talk later or something.
Yeah, there's
owns
something
us.
about him and me liking the movie Gremlins that he doesn't quite seem to like.
Well, that everybody understands. That's a universal thing. But you're right.
Gremlins?
He owns us, and we owe him everything. So
I think we need to
can't
talk before we leave about how much Amanda Lee loves Cars 2.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. You know how like Paddington 2 has an amazing rep for being a sequel, and
Are you about to compare Cars 2 with Paddington 2?
Cars 2 expands the Cars universe. I mean, yes, the first Cars is like a masterpiece.
Do you work
both
for John
visually-
Lasseter? I just have to ask that first.
No. This is just like I grew up watching Cars 1 and then Cars 2. And Cars 2 was like my comfort movie because I found the spy cars to be extremely comforting as a young child, because it felt like, not only were they getting to travel and explore and save the world, there's just so many more questions that get brought up in the Cars universe. There's a Pope car in the Cars 2.
Oh, yeah, with the car in it.
With the car in it. And then that there's a TSA pre-check at the airport that the cars go through. And so it's a commonly, conspiracy theory that maybe there was a Cars 9/11. And if that's the case, was it the car in the plane or was it the plane? Because later they made a planes movie where the planes have consciousness. And then it's interesting because, trains have consciousness too, that we find out in Cars 2. And there's spy cars in the spy train. But do the spy trains just exist with the cars inside of them?
That's a great question.
Anyways, and also like the last race between where Mater and Lightning McQueen are, Mater is trying to save his best friend and Lightning McQueen is trying to, save his best friend. And you just really get this like awesome bromance that I feel like just doesn't get represented enough in mainstream media, especially for like kids. And so I think Mater and Lightning McQueen just being best friends and just being best buds, you can really see like the tops and turns of like the obstacles in their relationship as it progresses throughout that movie. And like Lightning McQueen has to accept the type of person that Mater is, because Mater being himself is what makes him an incredible car. And so you shouldn't do anything to demean your friend for being who he is. I think Lightning McQueen has the best character growth. in Cars 2.
I love when people support movies that have been,
that are bad. Is that what you're going to say, Polly? Because I was going to say, well, I'm moved.
No, I honestly do love it. I feel this like I defend Spider-Man 3.
I love your passion about that. 100%. I'm sorry, Polly. I cut you off again.
No, I was going to say I defend Spider-Man 3 in the same way, where I'm like, here are all the best positive things about this movie that a lot of people don't like.
Cars 2 has an amazing score
admire.
also, by the way. It has a really great Giacchino score.
It does.
And it has an appearance by by what's his name from the Northwestern, who might have had allegations against him now, so I can't really be excited about that. But it also, everybody in that movie at some point had allegations now by this point. But also, my son used to talk about, or he the other day, because he watched that a bunch when he was a kid, and the other day he was randomly like, that movie's a little weird because Mater uses a human bathroom. I was like, I love that you just remembered that. And I mentioned that to a friend of the show and previous co-writer on the Writers Room Game Show, I guess on the co, Josh Cooley. I mentioned that Elliot said that, and he said, yeah, that was my scene. I boarded that whole scene. So fun fact.
Do you know Josh Cooley, he directed Toy Story 4 and wrote Inside Out.
Yeah.
And he was on the scene.
So he wrote that scene in Cars 2.
In the human bathroom.
I think it's a smart move because now you're questioning, did humans ever exist in the Cars universe? And then what happened to them?
The amount of conversations I'm sure they've had behind the scenes about this.
Maybe the humans disappeared to the island, to Quasar.
To Quasar.
Oh my God, this movie ties directly to Cars 2. Yes. I'm all for it.
The Writers Room Game Show with me, Ryan Paul, and Seth Worley. Executive produced by Grant Wakefield at Weekend Video and Ann Fogerty at Plot Devices. Edited to perfection by Rene Gomez. Our art is by your buddy, Meg Lewis, and our face-melting music is by Ben Worley. The Writers Room Game Show is a Weekend Video production in association with Plot Devices. Learn more about Weekend Video at weekend.video and check out writersroomgame.show to listen to all of our episodes and suggest your own prompts for future shows. And don't forget to rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts. It really helps our show out a lot. See you in the next one.